Hi everyone, welcome back to the Tailored Metaphor, where I use my imagination to explain your psychology. I'm Taylor Wilkins, the founder of the Tailored Quill, and I'm curious, have you ever picked up like Forbes magazine or Fortune magazine or some kind of business related magazine, or even something like People magazine or Us Weekly with celebrities all over it? And you're looking at it and you're like, God, these people, they touch millions of lives daily. They're able to have such a huge impact. And even a lot of these business people on these business related magazines, they actually create things that change, like literally change the world. And do you ever think, well, shoot, I can't have that level of impact. I can't reach millions of people every single day on the snap of my fingers. Or have you ever been in school or in your workplace and you see that popular person in your class or your office and you're like, man, that person has so much influence here. That person can make such an impact on their customers or on their coworkers or on their team. Man, I'll never have that kind of voice. And do you ever like just kind of diminish your own light? Dim yourself down and kind of quiet yourself because you think that you'll never have that level of impact that these popular people or these celebrities or famous business owners will have? I've been caught in this trap before. As a business owner myself, I've definitely gotten stuck in the trap of comparing myself to other business owners in my industry who are ultra successful, have millions of followers, make millions of dollars because they're able to impact so many lives on a daily basis. But let me tell you a story. I was skiing one time, I forget where, I think in Colorado maybe, but I was riding up the chairlift with a total stranger, struck up a conversation, and the woman asked me what I do for work. So we were just kind of talking about psychology and my work and everything, and she started asking me questions on behalf of her young son, and like because of certain behaviors he was having. It was just kind of a casual conversation. It didn't feel like it was going to turn into a formal session or anything that I had to worry about, but I just provided a couple of little insights and just that I had gained along the way in my career. And you could tell the relief just wash over this woman. It totally clicked for her. There's just these little couple like little insights I just thought of off the top of my head. I never met her child. Never met her son before, but just what she was explaining made me think of a couple of insights that ended up helping her understand things better. I have no idea how her family is doing. I have no idea how her son is doing. I don't know if she even took that knowledge and did anything with it. But I impacted her. I was able to impact her. And so, a very common misconception, especially in the business world, but everybody around the world, is that an impact or to make an impact means it means something huge. Like you have to catalyze some massive change, or metaphorically speaking, make an impact that like a crater makes. Just make this massive impact that affects a ton of people and is extremely noticeable. But really, that's not the case. Today's metaphor is about the misconception that your impact needs to be a tidal wave. It needs to be as big as this huge wave that someone might be surfing. This came from a client a couple of weeks ago who's trying to think about what kind of wave she wants to make, what kind of disruption she wants to cause in her industry. But it's not about the wave. You don't want to think that big. You can't think that big because there's way too much that happens between now and when a wave gets that big that you're not considering. So if you're just thinking about the wave and thinking about this massive impact that can affect tons of people and create social change of some kind, so much has to happen first, and you get down on yourself because you can't get that wave or make that wave of impact now. So how does a wave start? Let's bring it back. Let's roll it back. A wave starts just as a simple ripple. That's it. Either started by a light breeze or by a teeny tiny pebble in a river, but it starts as a ripple. So instead of focusing on this giant wave that you want to create, that you want to inspire, and that you want to show into the world, to like wash over the world, think about what ripple do you want to start today? And what ripple do you want to start tomorrow and the next day? What teeny tiny things could you start doing today and the next day that can lead to and grow into a much larger wave? For instance, if it's in your relationship, instead of thinking of big, like grand gestures like trips or gifts or whatever it may be to create a big impact in your relationship, instead think about smaller day-to-day lifestyle things. Like, what are things around the house that you can do that build into making a pretty big impact on you and your partner and your relationship? In the business world, think about how a social media post is a ripple, a blog post is a ripple. But if you keep posting those, it becomes a much larger wave and a much larger message and a much larger impact on your audience. And so if you're able to not only identify the impact you want to have, but more importantly, you're able to break that down into the smaller, actionable, and more manageable ripples on a daily basis, two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to relieve so much stress and pressure that you've been putting on yourself to achieve this massive impact that you see all these other celebrities and business owners making immediately. You think that you need to do that immediately. You're going to relieve all that pressure. And in doing so, you're actually going to free up space in your mind to be more creative, to be more open-minded, to have more fruitful conversations with people, and more importantly, have fun. You can have fun with whatever it is that you choose to do, whatever it is that ripple is, because there's so much less demand and intensity around that activity or task. Which leads me to number two. It super simplifies the actual action plan for you, the actual action step, because you're able to see, oh, if this is what ripple, and I just have to do this a lot of times, well, that's pretty straightforward. But also, if you get really good at whatever that ripple is, or you're comfortable with that ripple, then it can evolve, and you can have more fun with it evolving as well. And then down the line, it's going to become so much easier for you to have the impact that you want, because you've gone through the process, you've had fun doing it, and you've been really clear on what you've had to do to get to that end goal. So I hope this is helpful. Think about in your life. Don't try to make a massive wave right now. Just think about making a ripple today.